Hey, this is Charles Onyet with IGN here with Anthony Gallegos.
Hello.
And we're about to play some Serious Sam 3. Now, to start, this is a preview build, so not everything is active. There is multiplayer, you can do co-op, survival, which is not unlocked. So I'm just going to unlock a random level. There's 11 out of the 12 that are here, and I'm going to do the start of this one, go easy so I don't get destroyed. And embarrass myself while I'm talking.
This is pretty far up in the campaign too, right?
Yeah, this is pretty far into the campaign, yeah, there is some storyline at the start of this. I don't know if it's really spoilers, just because story isn't really a focus of Serious Sam. If you know anything about the series, then you know that it's basically about shooting as much stuff as you can, as quickly as you can. But I skipped the scene anyway, so there is a helicopter, spoilers, at some point.
So just like classic Serious Sam, here you are, middle of a big open desert in Egypt, which is kind of reminiscent of Serious Sam 2.
And I mean, I think they've definitely gone back, Croteam has gone back to a more realistic style with the visuals. Like Serious Sam 2 is really colorful and almost cartoony, some would say, whereas this is definitely, I mean, you still fight ridiculous enemies. Like you can see there's a giant rocket launcher guy over there. But I think it's definitely more realistic style. And I did want to point out also, this is a preview build, so it could be buggy. It's not polished, it's not final. Although it is running fairly well for what I've played so far. I haven't played every level that you saw there when I loaded the game up. But yeah, the way it works is you basically just walk into spaces like this, and then enemies will start running at you. And it's a very like old school style experience where you just shoot everything that moves, basically. I mean, there's nothing all that sophisticated about it. You can see that with the assault rifle, I can actually aim down the sights, and that also happens with the pistol, which I have unlimited ammo for.
Previously, you were always shooting from the hip in Serious Sam, right?
Yeah, so the aiming down the, the aiming down the sights thing is a little new. You can see some of the enemy types that will run at you here. I've got bomb hand enemies who...
They're almost like a staple. I mean, they are a staple of the franchise at this point. Everyone expects them.
Yeah,
in a Serious Sam
game. It's still the same sound effect when they run at you. So they're still screaming because they really, really want to kill you. Pretty much everything wants to kill you. You can also go through and melee guys. There, I just ripped that guy's heart out. I can throw it over here. You can just sort of go through, spam them. That almost seems kind of like an exploit. It's really effective. But in groups, it's really not the best idea just because enemies can kill you while that animation's happening. Or they can damage you like while you're doing the melee animation.
On easy, it might work fine, but yeah, when I was watching you play, even on normal, you were getting torn up if you were just trying to spam it.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing this game on hard before. It's definitely challenging if you turn up the difficulty, and I'm just kind of running around right now because I'm trying to talk while playing, which isn't.
Oh my God, what is that thing in the background?
So I'm getting shot at a few times by a few different guys with rockets. You can notice you can actually shoot the rockets out of the air, so it helps use. There's a minigun in the game as well. And I'll go through the weapons in a second once I get some breathing room here, which actually isn't really the point of the game. You're not supposed to have any breathing room, so I don't know if that's really going to happen. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get hit with these bomb guys because they actually do a lot of damage.
Yeah, Serious Sam doesn't really have the parts in, say, something like Gears of War, where all of a sudden they're like, here's the thoughtful, emotional, slow part. This is just like, go, 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 go.
Well, I would argue that I don't really think Gears of War has anything that's really thoughtful in it either.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Let me see if I can switch to some different weapons here. So I also get a sledgehammer, which is really bloody when you hit people. You can do an overhead. That was a kick, I guess, and Sam can also do a little arc swing in front of him, which is really good for the Gnar, which are not in this part. Oops, I don't even know what that is. I haven't even unlocked that in the story, so I'm not going to probably switch off of that. That might be a spoiler. I have two different kinds of shotguns. I have the sawed-off, which is just one shot. Oh God!
Oh, you got it.
Finally dead. Which is just one shot before it has to reload, and then there's this one.
I mean, it's pretty crazy how much damage that guy took, and you're playing it on easy right now.
Yeah.
So imagine on normal or hard fighting something like this behemoth of a guy that Charles is slowly approaching.
Yeah, and I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of sort of cover stuff. Like, I mean, you don't actually take cover, but you can actually hide behind a bunch of stuff while you're running around. Which is certainly helpful when stuff starts to go crazy.
But it's definitely like an homage to old games in the sense that, this game has no recharging health.
No.
This is all about finding little health and armor pickups scattered all over.
Yeah, I mean, you'll notice, like, so far I should probably switch to something a little more powerful for this guy. So I'm going to break out the rocket launcher. That was not it.
Oh.
There we go. So yeah, this is, like, straight up, like, just like the first game, like, kill as much stuff as quickly as you can. And I'm just going to see if I can move to the next area here.
I mean, it's also really fast. Like, you know, it's definitely got that old school kind of, you circle strafe at 1,000,000 miles an hour, especially if you sprint. It's really fast.
Oh, here we go. I just got a new weapon. So this thing does a lot of damage. Basically blows anything up that you hit with it. And I am just walking directly into my death here. While this is very much open sections where enemies spawn all over the place, there are actually slower sections where it's almost like a horror game where you have basically a flashlight and you'll go underground and do yeah, they're actually scary sections where you go through dark basements. Oh, now I'm getting the clear skeletons.
I mean, yeah,
who throw these bolos also doesn't make any sense, not really supposed to, doesn't matter.
I mean, I would say Serious Sam isn't like, you know, gonna shame something like a Crisis game or something like that, but their engine actually looks pretty good, and it can do some pretty good things with lighting that make those indoor parts kind of almost scary.
Yeah, and I mean, there are bits of story, but as I explained, story doesn't really matter when you're basically just getting attacked by these guys and they're throwing like chain bolos.
These are basically like skeleton bull velociraptors. I don't really understand them.
Yeah,
but
actually, I hate fighting these guys. They're so aggressive. I am not doing a very good job of getting that bow. There we go. Oh, I can melee that here. I'll melee a guy. So you can, if there's just one, you can do this melee attack and then rip their head off. I don't think throwing this actually does anything.
Makes you feel good.
But yeah, it's just basically a nice little reward after they spawn everywhere. And there are lots more enemy types as well that I found, like little spider things that shoot acid that you can also melee. You can't melee these larger guys. I'm probably not going about this the right way.
Honestly, I don't understand how this is even possible on something like hard. It's going to take some serious skill.
I'm being super reckless right now, and let me switch over to something a little more powerful so I can. Oh, that was a good shot. So I can take these guys out a little more effectively. Oh, and I ran out of ammo. Well, that was a good run. Yeah, I'm getting quite a bit shot at me right now. If I had a minigun, what I found is that against multiple like rocket shooting guys, there it's good to just lay out just a constant stream of fire because you'll knock a lot of those rockets out of the air while you do it.
But I feel like something that this kind of, you know, we've said it quite a few times, but, you know, Duke Nukem earlier kind of, everyone expected it to be like this return to old school kind of style shooters, and this is like really that. Like it is very much so kind of what you remember these games being like.
Yeah, and okay, well I have to restart this section, but yeah, I mean this is old school shooting. I mean that's pretty much, this is the definition of just totally nonsense, totally crazy shooting sequences. And yeah, I died there because I was being an idiot and running up at those guys with the sawed-off. What I don't know is how the gameplay will necessarily be affected if when you have multiple people in for a co-op experience. I'm sure it will get pretty
How many people can play
crazy.
co-op?
I think it's up to 16. So there could be
My God.
a ridiculous amount of enemies running around in these areas.
I want to see I was gonna say I want to see 16 people just running out and meleeing everything.
Yeah, I know, and I don't have access to that in this preview build, so I can't experience that. I can't show it. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a good overview of what Serious Sam is like. It's this. It's this over and over again. And there is a little bit of variety to the levels, as I was talking about, with the sort of dark underground sections. So hopefully it doesn't get too tedious, because you know if you do the same thing over and over too much, you're gonna get a little bored. But yeah, hopefully that's a good view. And this comes out in about a month. It's November 22nd on PC. And yeah, we'll be covering it up until launch. And for a lot more on Serious Sam 3, you can head over to IGN.com. Oh my god.